Thank you very much. This is hashtag Reality with Ashley. Today we are here in Pretoria. We'll be in conversation with the party leader of the latest formed political party in South Africa. But before I go further, I just want to thank and salute the personal assistants in the Office of Presidency, Mr. Prince Madlala, for giving us an opportunity to come and engage with the party leader politically. And today I'm not alone. I'm with my host by the name of Touch Malak. Mr. Malak, can you please introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one, Ashley. I'll say let's just welcome ourselves here, and with the warm welcoming that we have received here, we are happy. We know there are so many challenges.
That's great, Mr.
There are so
Malak.
many challenges in our country whereby we just need to talk about these challenges with all our leaders.
That's great.
Yeah, and we see which one can we easily resolve, because now when I check actually, we've been going around. Last time we were in Joburg trying to tackle some of the issues. Today we are in Pretoria. Our president is here. He's also going to engage in some of typical issues that actually young people are finding themselves in, challenges, ESCOM, and all those problems. So let's go with it. Let's see what not today rekalukisha.
Thank you very much for your articulation, Mr. Malak. Mr. President, thank you very much for your time. We are really happy for having you in this show. Then my name is Ashley, and this is hashtag Reality with Ashley. So, Mr. President, you are a politician. You are also a party leader. So I just want to know, when did you started to be involved in politics, and how old were you at that time, if you don't mind to share with us?
Look, thank you very much, Ashley and Mr. Malak. Obviously, the show itself, hashtag Reality Ashley, I think it's a good show. It's always encouraging to see young people coming up with innovative ideas to reach a lot of people. Like you rightly said, I'm Abel Tau. I'm a party leader of a newly formed political party called United African Transformations, also known in short as UAT. Obviously, Mr. Malak, you've already welcomed yourself, but you are welcome. You are in Pretoria, and this is our turf. By the way, I have actually been the acting mayor of the city at some point, and therefore it is my honor to welcome you, to have a conversation with you, and let's talk about the issues that are there. But more than anything, Mr. Malak, we don't just want to talk about the problems. What we want to do, and that has always been something that I'm renowned for, is then bring practical alternative solutions to the problems that we'll be talking about, because everyone can comment on issues, and as a spectator, but what do you do to assist those who are in the pitch of play, in the field of play? And I think that it's very, very important to do that. But let me come back and be direct. You've asked me who am I, where do I come from, and when did I come across politics. Like I said, obviously my name, Abel Tau. I was born and raised in this very city. I was born in Winterfeld until I was about 11ish. Went to school, primary school, in a school called Dimalong Primary School. Said that to this day, they're still probably using long drop toilets. That was back in 1984, and that's still our reality. So these are some of the problems that we'll be dealing with, obviously, as we converse. I then went on to live in Soshanguve, Block HH. That's where I was raised throughout my formative years. Studied a bit in the then Pretoria University. What you have as TN became TNG, and all of those things. I think now it's what TN, whatever.
That's great.
Fole mfanakasi through.
That's great, Mr. Abel Tau. But I will keep on calling you Mr. President. Ne? Yeah, I'm sorry for that, but you are a president. So, but Mr. President, I just want to ask you, so who groomed you politically?
Look, politics find you. In 1984, when I started, I knew something was wrong with our country. There was what used to be called black power. People were petrol bombing, and there were things happening. And I was about 5-6 years old.
Oh.
And obviously, the massacre in Winterfeld in City Rocks in 1986. I mean, we saw people getting shot. I mean, police were chasing after people, shooting people with live rounds and all of those things. One of the history that is hardly ever spoken of the contribution Winterveld had in the liberation of all of us in South Africa. And that's where I learned that there was something wrong. Growing up, I became the first deputy president, SRC, in the school I was in, high school. It was just at the tail end of your apartheid in the reign Mangope. And obviously I then became an activist at home where I was staying. I mean, I became a community activist. There's quite a number of things that I've achieved, and then growing up from then I went into mainstream politics. I'm a qualified diesel electrical fitter. So I became a shop steward at Transnet, again from a perspective of disadvantage, looking at your technical workers, who came into the space 20, 30 years ago, and they still are at the bottom of the ladder, and the unfairness. I then wanted to assist. So all my life, it has been really a journey where when there is injustice, I believe that people should be drawn to politics because they are there seeing injustice, and as activists they are drawn to say, what can I do to make the situation better and obviously change the situation. That has been my number one motivation. I've come across a lot of people who really have played a big part in my political journey, but none other a bigger one than a man called John Moody. I think he's currently the national whatever in the Green Party.
You said John?
John Moody.
Okay.
This man has really been something else. I mean, in my political career, he is probably the single person who's responsible to making sure that you can talk to me and refer to me as a president of a party.
That's great.
Because he really was like a father figure. To this day, he is a father to me. I mean, he calls me and says, son, don't do that. And he mentored me, he guided me along my political journey. To this day, I'm grateful to him for my political career.
Mr. Malak, I just want you to say something.
I'm so interested in his journey. And I like the fact that actually he was a shop steward at some point where probably you get the political background.
Yes.
Where you have to lead the workers.
Yeah.
And make sure that actually justice is being served. But now, I like to tackle some issues that are basically with his history and so on. So when I check, Mr. Tau was with the Action SA. And I don't know what transpired. I think he's going to give us the brief story about that. And I just want to know why UAT? Why not continue with the movement in the Action SA? Why decided to leave the party and form his own political party? So if he can make me, like, give me clarity on that, so that I don't see him as, I don't see the green flag anymore, and now I will see the blue, red and white. Do I understand?
No. Okay.
So there is still the green picture in my mind, so that I want to deal with. So I want to know, why did he departure from SA, Action SA, and now why did he decide to open his own, or to create this organization, this beautiful organization?
Look, Mr. Malak, if I take you just one step back, actually, I was the regional chairperson of the DA in Tshwane. In 2017, we were running the city in a different coalition, and my experience with that political party, I came into politics, like I said, to make a difference, to try and confront the injustices that I believe are prevalent in my immediate community. And from that perspective, I think one can safely say I applied myself fully, having realized that that particular party is not really keen on addressing the core challenges, especially that are faced by black people in particular. Because whether we like it or not, I think black people are still the worst affected by the challenges that we have. Most unemployed people, if you go to the township today, are predominantly black. Poor people, black. People who are affected by the high death rate, black. The prevalence of HIV and AIDS, it's black. You can go on and on about every negative statistic that is there. The poor education is received by black kids, and all of those things. So when that party at the time was saying one nation, one future, I thought I could help build that one nation with one future where all of us could be equal and we can relive the dream of 1994.
The idea was,
unfortunately, I realized these guys are about entrenching and protecting privilege, white privilege. Then it did not sit well with me, and really there is undertones of racism and entrenched in the structure. I then left because I couldn't lead as an individual in that space. So I left them. Then beautifully, I thought finally there's this man, Hemen Mashaba, and us, we are going to come together and we're going to form this political party. And then we are going to act as one. At the time, we're like, there's just going to be oneness around.
That particular time.
Because we wanted to create a nation that's one.
Yes.
And unfortunately, as you can see, it turns out it became an elitist party that looks at all these other things. But for my woes, I think I was becoming too much of an irritation in the political establishment, because a lot of people were uncomfortable that I was saying the things that they feel should not be said. And unfortunately, I went through what every black politician goes through if you are an irritation to the establishment. They tried to obviously set me up for a fall. I'm not going to, unfortunately, they didn't know that I was not going to fall on my face. So, as you can see, but one thing that I was very adamant about is that my political journey was mine.
Yes.
I got called into politics by my ancestors or by God or the universe or whatever it is. They didn't call me and somebody else who must come and assist me. And therefore, if there's anyone who then feels that, or when our path, our journey, as it continues, and you decide, Mr. Malak, our journey ends here. It doesn't mean that I've reached my destination. I'm still continuing. And for that reason, I then realized that there's way too many. I've interacted with a lot of activists throughout my life and throughout my career so far. And many of them are unhappy in political parties for the mere fact that they are being gagged, they can't tell their own truth, they can't live their experiences and whatever. So there is almost this imperialist idea of trying to impose itself on every other person who's so-called leader in these formations. And I decided I'm not going to stand for that. I'm going to open a political party and start one where we are not going to promise people that we can fix their problems when internally we've got big problems. That is how it was formed. So I want to build a party where members of that party and activists and supporters can actually feel privileged, honored, valued, being part of the organization before we even talk about dealing with societal issues and turning South Africa around.
That's great. As Malak said, Mr. President, but I just want to know who's funding your political party.
Yeah, trust me, members of this party are actually funding this party. We have membership of 20 Rantanyana Fela, and you'll be amazed what the little that we pull together can do. I mean, organizations like your AfriForums are member-funded organizations, and all of those things. And one of the things that you learn about member-funded organizations is that they free their leaders to be able to speak truth to power. I'm not gagged because I don't have a funder who's sitting in a wine farm in the Western Cape somewhere who will tell me not to say this or that to say. Equally, I don't have a funder who's sitting in a citrus farm somewhere in Zibidiyel. Members of this party are the ones who are raising funds for us to run the organization. They contribute on a monthly basis, some of them, and together we are able to do what we do. Obviously, business people are starting to give us calls. I'm hoping after the show I'll get a few more calls.
Oh,
To say, Bafetu, we like what you guys are doing.
Okay.
We want to see how we can assist you. And that's how we are growing. I mean, they'll come in and say, and that's how we've been thriving.
Okay, but then Mr. Tau, Mr. Tau, yes, Mr. Tau, Mr. the President. But there is a project called Tau Project. I just want to know the relationship you have with the Tau Project. Tell us more about Tau Project in your political party.
It's absolutely a beautiful project. I think it's a project that goes out and does food relief and does poverty alleviation interventions in a number of communities. Actually, throughout SADC, I think they've already built over 50 houses. They've been giving food parcels every month to needy families, and really they've been doing this work. Now, I've had a relationship with them. I'm a former MMC of housing and human settlement in the city, by the way, amongst one of the things, and I've been a former MMC of utility services in the city. So I have developed over time relationships with a number of people, and one of those relationships is with specifically this Tau project. Now, Tau project is an offshoot from the IPHC Jerusalem, which is part of what they do from the leader or the spiritual leader of the church, and that relationship between us and them culminated in us saying, look, Mena, I'm a politician, and I think I have appetite to confront and address the challenges that South Africa is currently facing. Now, the same appetite is displayed by Tau Project by confronting these problems through poverty alleviation measures that are in place. Now, both of us have a lot in common, but you see, yours is unsustainable because more and more people are falling into the trap of unemployment. By the way, the economy just contracted by 1.3% again. Yesterday, those figures were announced. That means soon more people will be unemployed and things will be going up and all of those challenges. So I said to them, look, the problem is we are dealing with the symptoms and not the source of the problem. The source of the problem is government. There is mismanagement of this country, and if we cannot turn that around, we are going to give more and more people food parcels, and then probably it will assist them for a week or 2 or 3, depending on the size of the family, or a month. But eventually, you cannot cover everyone, and it's unsustainable. Therefore, one of the things that we want to do is to establish a party that can take this model and actually establish it into government. Therefore, what we then said to them is to say, when you go and meet people and assist them in the manner that you do, please take us with you. So that we can talk to these people and say to them, guys, it's not enough for you to get a food hamper that is going to last you a month now. But the problem is that which has cost you to need a food hamper from Tau Project will still be there after that. So in 2024, there's an opportunity to confront that which has cost you to need a food hamper and assistance in poverty relief. Therefore, let's go out and fix that. And the only way to fix it is by then entering into the political arena. That's where we are. Therefore, the message is very clear that please support us in 2024, vote for us so that we can go in government and resolve these problems. Why? Because we have been with you. We have seen people queuing for food parcels. We've had testimonies, people telling us that we've never had food for the whole week. Today, at least, we'll have a meal. And all those challenges. So, the reality is that our relationship is a relationship that is out there for everyone to know, and it's one we want to nurture and cherish and grow, because we want to see Tau Project growing to be something like Gift of the Givers and that kind of a thing, where it is able to reach many people and do a lot more for people.
That's great. But then, is there anything you want to say?
I wanna add on what the president is saying. I understand the sympathy, and for the project also to help those needy people out there. But my question is like, why do we have to give people food, and like even what is happening with the ANC giving people the 350 rands. I don't get it at some point, because our unemployment rate is too high. If we create more jobs, people can work and make money so that they can buy themselves food. But now, if a person will sit and wait for the leaders to come and bring food, I don't think it's not a development. So I was thinking to Mr. Dow, say, Mr. Dow, what is it that the party actually has decided in terms of developing our young ones or developing our community in terms of job creation? And the second question is basically when we go back to your movement coming from the DA, going to XNSA, even leaving XNSA, coming to open your own party. How's the relationship now with the leaders? Are you still in good terms, or now
Look, if it was personal, maybe let me start with the last
Okay.
question. Look, if it was about personalities, we would probably have the FFs that you spoke about. But
no, Skawara, more we talk everything. We are not afraid.
No,
Yeah, we tackle everything.
I'm a statesman. Imagine your president having the F word.
No, but yeah.
So
I hear you.
by the way, I want to be president one day.
Yeah.
So this
That's the
thing-
wish of each and every politician.
this thing might resurface one day. But let me tell the F
But
word.
that is the
We noted you.
Yeah.
No,
No,
you're
look,
not
we were never really friends. We had good relations, and I was clear and understood myself when I went into politics to say I'm not going there to make friends. I'm there to serve society, and if we do make friends, then great. There are great political acquaintances that I've made who we have become friends, and trust me, our lives are great. But equally, there are people that will not be invited to my 25th wedding anniversary. That's just the reality that we have. There are areas where I'm not invited to people's baby showers,
Yes, yes.
and I'm fine with that. I understand that it's about work. So we are having a work type relationship. Whether or not I'll work with some of them. Yeah, no, when it comes to politics, we can't compromise our people, because we will compromise your values. And trying to appease people. But then coming to the second thing, you see, one of the things that you do, food relief is a practical way of saying to people I care. Because like I said, there are people who go to bed with nothing in their stomachs.
Yeah.
And trust me, when everyone is sleeping, and you malaha ashila nation, and there's nothing in there, you can't even wake up. Maybe it's a renzi so it's that kind of understanding that there are people who really have nothing, and we must make sure that we come in and assist where we can. But there's a lot that the organization has done and is doing to help young people in business. We are working with Marekisi Forum right now, just to tell you, where we have actually put together a package. We are negotiating now with finance institutions, because we believe that they should not just be informal traders their entire existence, but they need to graduate into the mainstream economy as well, so that they can be able to fend for themselves. So we are working with them in formulating these programs that are there for a young organization like ourselves to find ourselves in a space where we are already working on how are we going to work with them to make sure that we intervene. Is already a step in the right direction. There are young people in the Northwest that we are working with, assisting them in the mining space, because they have gone into that space, and a number of interventions, our very own platforms, platforms that we have made available for young people to come and intern in. We have one intern in our office already, and then we have also availed our space as an organization for people who also want to train while we're doing what we're doing. So there's quite a bit that we are doing. to help young people to find their feet. But that is why precisely why we needed to be in this party needed to be formed. It's because we have these solutions that are just they are rusting in our minds, to say these are the interventions that we should be bringing in.
Yeah.
We are meeting, and in our ranks there's these people who are saying this can be done, that can be done, but don't have a platform. So if we are to be government, then trust me, we will be able to then bring these solutions and these people and these great South Africans onto a space where they are actually able to implement these ideas, and then we can see solutions going forward. So that is why it's imperative, and we are unambiguous, to say we need to reach as many people and give them this message of hope, to say there is hope for this country. And that hope does not lie with the current political establishment. What is there will never respond to your problems, because they've always been there. They've learned how to exist with the problems that are there. What you need is something outside of those problems. I mean, Einstein are nothing defines madness, like people who do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So we are saying that we are something different that comes with something that has not been seen before, and all we want to see is South Africans giving us a chance to show them what we can do.
Okay. As I told you that there is more to come. Today we're here on #Reality with Ashley. We are unfolding the political ideology of the president of UAT. Mr. President, you were a card-carrying member of Action SA. Like as you said, you were also a member of mayoral committee in Tshwane Metro Municipality. But there is something I want to ask you. What is your say about the foreigners in South Africa?
Look, I think the issue of foreign nationals is one that is if we want to deal with it at the layman's level, at the pedestrian level, if we are to be lazy about it, we'll say foreigners are a problem in our country, and leave it there and say, let's take all the foreigners out and chase them away and make sure that they don't come back and build walls and borders and everything. But the problems are much deeper than just an issue of foreign nationals. The problems are immigration control. They come in because the gates are open. Now, humanity is like that. When you've got a problem at home and there's an easy way to resolve it by cutting corners, everyone is going to do that. These people are pressed by circumstances back home
in their countries, yes.
And therefore you cannot expect any different reaction. So at face value, we are saying fine, let's make sure that everyone who's in this country is accounted for. Why? Because we can plan better. We can make budgets that account for services for all these people, as opposed to planning for 3 people, meanwhile you have 7 people in the house. Then you'll be able to budget better. So that is important. But also that when there are criminal elements amongst them, that we can be able to resolve crime. Because when people are undocumented and unaccounted for, then when crime happens, we can't even go into forensics. It becomes difficult to resolve some of these issues. And then it becomes enticing for most of them to then go into that space of crime, because number one, they don't have opportunities in the country legally, and therefore they are being exploited wherever they are. And mind you, some of them are well educated and well trained, whether militarily or in the police, in the security space. So it becomes a very, very big challenge in that space, in that we are creating all the environment that allows for these people, for foreign nationals, to want to flock into our country. But also, our country is beautiful. It's one of the most developed countries, if not the most developed country in the African continent. I've traveled the continent. I've seen different countries, and trust me, what we are crying about is nothing. I mean, this country is beautiful. It's developed. Everyone wants to come to Pretoria or Johannesburg. Everyone wants to see the Mall of Africa. When that mall is called that, it's not like it's a witch hunt. It's really one of the best malls in the continent, if not the best mall. So these are the things that you see. So for me, foreign nationals are an easy excuse for us when we want to get by. We need to get deeper into the thing, notwithstanding that they must be here legally. They must observe our laws. They must add value to the economy, especially an economy that is not performing like this one of ours is. Definitely they must, you cannot have dead weight, and that will also assist us in that if we do all the right things, have immigration control, strengthen our borders, do the things that need to be done to repel foreign nationals, it's going to push them to resolve their domestic issues. Because one of the biggest problems that you find is that you're going to have whatever number of Zimbabwean nationals in the country, who 6 million, 7, whatever the number you can think of, who will not go back home to go and vote when election time comes because they believe nothing is going to happen. And then the problem is, then the president there wins by 6 million votes, and there's more than those people in the diaspora here. They could have gone home, and they tell you they're not happy with what is happening. So it's a problem. By making sure that we have proper immigration control, maybe we'll force those governments to respond to their citizens, make sure that something is done to resolve matata gamai.
So, Mr. President, I just want to take you back because, like you mentioned IPHC, which is one of the biggest church in Africa. So, and we saw you being supportive to that church.
Yes.
So, I just want to ask you, you are a politician, you are a party leader, but there has been a direct faction within the church. But so as a leader, I just want to know your stand. And second question, and then there has been an allegation that majority of your members, they come from IPHC. And then that's my second question. So I just want you to share with us on that point, Mr. President.
Yeah, look, the church...
You are spying.
Yes. Because I just want to unfold everything about Mr. President Tau.
I like it.
You get my point?
No. I hear.
Yeah.
Now look, from where I'm sitting, number one, I can't speak on behalf of the church and the factions and everything. I'm not a member of the church.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't know the ins and out of the church and how things go there. But I like the church a lot. I think it's like I'm halfway joining. You know?
Joining the church. Oh.
I'm a polygamist, by the way. So yeah, and a practicing one. So I like the idea that I think it's very godly. It is it's putting emphasis and to family. So for me, I'm a big proponent of polygamy. I think I'm going to champion that. Let's get married. This scam that we were told you must marry one wife and leave happily ever after. Because I'm a local now. Let's be frank.
Okay, that's what you like about the church.
Not about the church. I'm saying
from the leader.
They are sorted. There you can marry 7.
Yeah,
it's proper.
Yeah.
One man can be able to marry 7 women.
Yes.
Really?
I am told. Yes. So don't worry, Mjana. They are pioneering this reality. There has always been one with us.
There is a lot of opportunity there in terms of relationship.
You guys are my son's age.
Okay, but then let us go to focus on this one of majority. Okay.
So, I've not picked a side. I went to court to support justice. You would know that the judge has been threatened. He's been having death threats and all of those things. Now, we don't know where that comes from. Now, from our side, we are saying we will defend the rule of law. In fact, one of our pillars is not the supremacy of the rule of law. We are saying we want to see law and order in our country. Because this thing of sugarcoating these things and making them look nice, South Africans are revere Botswana and love Botswana because there is law and order. In that country.
Oh, even though it's Botswana,
high grade ke follow to go go be drinking.
I hear it from your articulation.
Yeah. So if you look at the bigger picture, I want to make sure that this issue is resolved.
Yeah.
This church, like you rightly said, it's one of the biggest churches in Africa, founded in 1962. If you think about it,
you said founded in
1962.
1962. Okay.
Yeah. And if you think about it, it is an epitome of what is good about us as Africans, and that is what people have said we can't do. They said we don't have longevity, they fade away. You know, we can't run our own affairs and whatever.
Yes.
If you look at what they've been able to do as a church in the 3 areas, I mean, they've built some of the best infrastructure that you can find in the African continent, owned by a religious organization. You know, even governments don't have the kind of infrastructure that they have in some of their facilities. So this is something that we need to magnify and say, guys, this is something good. If actually I had it my way and I could talk, I would call these guys and say, come together, let's see how we resolve these problems, because this church must thrive, just as the Zion Christian Church must thrive, and Yanda Demo Apostolum Kwena Tiranas must thrive. These are African indigenous churches, your Shembe, your Nazarene Baptist Church. These are African indigenous churches that must thrive, but equally your Apostolic Faith Mission and all of those things, so that we demonstrate that as Africans we've always been God-fearing, and our understanding and knowledge of God comes from afar, not just from where we find ourselves as today. I mean, at some point I was worried the Kereke Apostle Nogari it's gonna fade away in the 90s with the mushrooming of the new charismatic religion, and we were worried Rio you know, this Kalisabona and go to go and Zion, you know. So you see the revival of that, which is something that must happen and must be embraced by all of us. So that's why I supported and I was there, and I'll continue to support the process so that we get to the bottom of the resolution of this problem that currently finds itself. You said most of my support, majority. I think because the members have seen my love for them, our relationship with Tau Project, the fact that I'm Abel Tau, my surname is Tau, you know, everything. So they kind of have a natural, you know,
attachment.
And they are drawn. It's a match made in heaven. It's easy for us to relate. So we have quite a sizable number that is our members, but we are having quite a sizable number from other churches as well as generally in society. There's a number of people that are supporting us, and we want actually all of them to support us if it was possible, because it's important. They are affected by the problems that society that are faced by everyone in society. When there's load shedding, it affects all of them. When there's issues of unemployment, it affects them. When universities are dysfunctional and kids are in Joburg or Toitoin, it affects them. When in January their kids cannot find school, it affects them. So all of these things affect members of the church. So I actually want to encourage members of the church to say they must come and join, not just any other party, join my party.
You're even giving the members a mandate.
Direct.
No, I'm saying not just members of the church. Any other church, they must join my party.
But other bishops, they say
the church people. I can take out scriptures now. In the book of Proverbs it says when the righteous are in power or in authority, people rejoice. So they must make sure that they put people like myself into power so that they can rejoice.
Hallelujah. So Mr. President, you know, I saw Mr. President when he was responding to the question I put to him. He gave me this kind of content. I don't know what was he trying to sign. So I don't know, but for that kind of watching a time. So I think maybe you let us stick on the questions.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't know, or maybe there was something trying to hide behind.
I hear you, Ashley.
Like, yeah.
I hear you, Ashley.
Yes.
But I wanna take him back, because now he was addressing the issue of foreigners,
Yes.
and he touched some of the points. So I think if we can articulate on that, because now it takes me back to the issue of crime,
Yeah.
because the crime rate is very high. Look what is happening with the cases now.
Yes.
I don't know what is this leader of ours is doing with this type of problems, because now we have the case of AKA, we have the case of somebody, and you know me as a producer, as a music producer, I'm feeling threatened. I'm feeling threatened because now I think as artists we are not safe.
Yeah.
And we don't know where are they getting these hitmans and so on.
Yeah.
And we don't know whether it's the foreigners, we don't know whether it's our people here, but I think something has to be done in terms of containing the crime. And these people, if they are not documented, you'll never know actually who's misconducting in this country, you see. So I don't know, Mr. Tau, because now the crime is a very serious issue. How can we deal with this thing? Because now I don't know. We are confused now.
Look, crime is not just an element of someone picking up a gun and going to shoot somebody. Actually, the biggest problem you have is organized crime, and you need crime intelligence. You need crime prevention measures in the country.
Yes.
You need different crime strategies to confront crime that talk to your different specialized units, because criminals and crimes are not the same. So you need specialized units to deal with different crimes, and all of those things. Now, when you have challenges such as the ones that we are having, by the way, we more people get killed violently here every day than it is in Ukraine, where bombs are falling. And so it has consistently been that reality. But I don't think that has been because of the advent of the influx of foreigners. You can go as far back as you can like. Crime has always been a problem. Then we blamed apartheid and the fight against apartheid. Then afterwards, I don't know what else are we blaming. The strategies are wrong. They are not responding to the reality of South Africa. And it's a multifaceted thing. It's an issue of training. It's an issue of our education systems. In other countries, when kids go to school, they actually learn about the value of valuing somebody else's life and whatever. I don't know what is the curricula like, go life orientation.
Because
but
we do have life orientation.
I thought those were the things.
Those are
that
issues
would
that
be instilled
should be addressed.
Through education and stuff. So, and now from where I'm standing, I don't want to really deduce it to the element of foreign nationals, because if you would go to our jails, you were going to find them and there's more South Africans there than foreign nationals. So that tells you that an issue of crime has nothing, or not nothing, but has very little to do with the kind of person you are. I mean, it's the same thing apartheid by bringing us into a corner because you are black, and they were decent and they are decent black people, just as there are horrible black people, horrible white people, horrible Indians, and horrible colored Indian people. The same is true with foreign nationals. There are some really nice people who are of foreign nationality, and I've met most of them. I've met some of them. I, by the way, have friends. I have a very dear friend in Botswana. I go there regularly. He comes here with his kids, and we're like family. I have a dear friend in Namibia, who I can go to Joe anytime. A very good person. I've got friends in Lesotho. I was there not so long ago, and it's great. So I don't see how we can just deduce it to just a question of them being undocumented foreign nationals or foreign nationals. I think we need to go deeper than that. when it comes to that element of crime. Crime needs to be confronted in South Africa.
Yeah.
Directly
You
so.
know, yeah, that's a thing. I mean, even now, you go to construction sites, people are stopping construction. We are fixing construction mafia. Those are criminals.
Yeah.
You know, you go in the taxi industry. They decide to stop the country from functioning, and we go like, taxi industry is the boss. We should get rid of police
You
and
give them too much privilege.
There's no law and order whatsoever. I mean, you've got people because so we must fix that as a country. But people must actually, you must drive the fear of God in the hearts of criminals. The same thing, you'll never go in your Botswana. They've even gotten across borders, they've driven the fear of God. Police station. Because if they ever find you on the street, it's even worse. And I'm not promoting police brutality or a barbaric behavior of police and breaking the law of police. But I'm simply saying, for a people who are as hardened as we are, the response must meet the type of people that we are responding. We are not dealing with kindergarten kids here. We are dealing with hardened criminals who shoot at police, and therefore police must be able to be trained such that they respond. Also, until as a criminal, should you dare confront Mulawarina in that fashion, you should know. Future generations. But
Mara, Hotewa, in most cases, Mr. Tau, Hotewa, in most cases, especially with the issue of crime, in most cases you find that the police are involved in these crimes. You find that they are working hand in hand with these criminals. And if our police system are the ones that are corrupt, how are we going to deal with this? Because now, corruption, it starts with people within.
no, let's fix it this way. Corruption is an enemy to society in general.
In general, yes.
Now, when it rots, it starts from the head. You see, I'm a politician myself.
Yes.
If people see me living a lavish life that is unexplainable, I'm always in yards with little kids who are wearing little to next to nothing. I'm having expensive bottles of whiskey, and doing all sorts of things that ordinary people know that I can't afford. Then it says to them, then if our leaders can behave like this, then who are we to try and be on the straight and narrow? We obviously need to fix the economy. Right now, my first house that I bought, the owner of the house, it was a 3-bedroom house, big enough. I think it was something like 90 square meters, if I'm not mistaken. And the house was I bought the house from a person who was a porter at George Mukari Academic in Harangu. Now, during the days of apartheid, a porter, a cleaner at hospital and everywhere could afford to buy a bonded house because the economy was good. And we are not glorifying apartheid. Wherever. But the same model should be applicable. Now, when I grew up, there were areas like Kobodi Didi, Go Social and Go there. Unit D in Hammanskraal, and all those areas where you knew Hunama teacher, people were affluent when there was pride attached to doing civil service. Government, because government had subsidy and government not because they were earning a lot of money, but because the economy was so healthy that they could live a good life. Now we have a missing middle. If we were very uniform as police, you are associated with Tsokolo.
Yeah,
Literally. Because you can't afford to buy a house, you are born, you can't afford to take your kid to university. Nefsas, even though Opala Gemo Twasa Beregi, because at least you're not like Kalago Nefsas.
Because Baltimore privileges,
Kamo, you can't afford to pay for your
and
kids.
Gamo, you're not affording.
Kamo, I mean, Rena, when this life was turning, my teacher could afford to use
Good Kolonza, yes.
I don't think they can afford.
They can't now.
You know,
They can't.
The economy has just become so difficult. So those are some of the things we need to address as a country. To make sure that there is pride in being a civil servant. Our civil servants are motivated, they are remunerated well, we've recalibrated that they can afford a decent life, and then you will confront corruption. But I refuse to believe that people are corrupt and they are not committed to the work at hand. I think that the leadership before them is not strong enough, is not one that inspires confidence for them to do the right thing. And like I repeat, if Nagamo I guess number now, it's a Naga 8, 9, 10, I can't expect my son to be home by 7 o'clock.
By 7 o'clock, yes.
So that is the problem we are having.
Okay,
You must
Mr.
lead by example.
So, Mr. President, I have 6 questions which I think are very important to be asked. So I will ask you these questions one by one. Like I will ask you, then you respond. I will come up because we are about to wrap the conversation. So the first one, I saw you doing up and down, traveling different provinces. But then I have a question I want to ask you. So which province is showing your political party more support so far?
Look, so far we are doing well in Limpopo, and here in Gauteng. So the 2 provinces are leading by now. We are going to contest the whole 9 provinces with a key focus on 5 provinces. Eastern Cape is our 6th one. It has come on board. Next week on Wednesday, I'm flying down to PE. But Limpopo feels like home. So our target and our desire is to do well in Gauteng, is to do well in Limpopo and Northwest, Mpumalanga and the Free State, hopefully Eastern Cape. Here in Gauteng, I hope to form part of government. I know that Panyaza and his government are not going to get the majority they need. So there's going to be a coalition government in Gauteng. So we'll decide who we work with. They will have to knock here. I'm going to lock my gates and not answer phones for a while. So I know that Gauteng, we are going to be part of government. I know that in Limpopo we are going to be part of government, and in the Northwest we are going to be part of government definitely. And the other provinces, we are still working on it.
So Mr. President, when you look at the membership of your party, do you expect a seat in parliament next year?
Actually, you are playing games. I expect seats.
You expect seats. Remember, we're talking about millions here.
No.
You are 100% sure with the mobilization you have done. Yes, but then are you 100% sure with the mobilization you have done so far?
No, look, elections are still quite some distance. If you look at what we had this previous election, EFF was the 3rd biggest, if I'm not mistaken. Got 44 seats with 1.3 million votes.
You see?
It was the 3rd.
So, and who got? I think there's someone who got 586,000 votes, and they got about a few votes. So I'm roughly pacing myself there. Government 20 seats in the National Assembly. If I didn't do well, if I did come I'm seeing myself EFF. I'll be able
Okay, Mr. President. Okay. If it happens that you are indeed win the 2024 national election, so if it happens that you win the national election in 2024, what is the first thing you will do for the people of South Africa in terms of change? What's the first thing you will change?
Look, there's low hanging fruit. One, we've got a very bloated cabinet. I think there's no justification to have okay, how many ministries? I know there's 36 deputy ministers, and I think
Your
20,
DPTs are many, then minister are,
I think
minor.
it's 26 ministries now. What do you do with 26 ministers in a country with 60 million people? That's
taxpayers' money is being abused.
So definitely we are going to trim cabinet so that it's more sizable and much more. Because when you've got a bigger cabinet, you've got too many views, and more than one vision is tantamount to division. So you are going to have everyone. I mean, you have a minister of lower education, higher education, you've got justice, you've got the security cluster in mixed masala and JK, justice seeking and constitutional affairs, law police, law corrections, so it's a mishmash. So you're gonna have to consolidate some ministries and trim government a bit. Definitely South Africa needs to deal with the issue of water. Mark my words, it's a very, very critical. Water is life, and we are not looking after our water resources. We've been talking about the Lesotho Highlands projects forever, and it's not coming online, and there are problems there. Because people, all of those things. So water and sanitation is a very big challenge for our country. I'm hoping Khosinto will sort out the electricity, so I don't have to start there, because that's the immediate thing. If you deal with load shedding and sort electricity, you can reindustrialize, so that people have confidence to invest in your country. We've got one of the youngest population. We can manufacture. Let's have a strong voice. You just need to be very famous producing, and we've got the kind of development in the country. The kind of developed infrastructure that can allow for us, and we are not trading enough with Africa, so we should be at the factory Africa where things happen here, and we increase intra-Africa trade. Let's stop wanting to trade with China, the US, and Brazil. Let's start here at home and make sure that goods and services are flowing across our immediate neighbors, and then you can resolve the problem.
I left with two, then this one. So are you sure about leading the South African government? I want you to share with us, like, you are 100% sure that you can be a capable leader.
Yes, the leader.
Are you 100% sure that you can be a capable leader to lead South African government?
But come on, you can't have a better president than myself, honestly.
No, remember we know you from being leading the Department of Human Settlement in Tshwane Metro Municipality, and then you've been in a several portfolio committee there. That's why I get it, like maybe a single one for how long on those portfolio. That's why I get it. Are you sure you can lead the South African government?
No, yes, that's why I go with you can never ask for a better president. If there's one thing that South Africa needs for 2024 is to vote next to UAT. Because look, we've got fresh ideas. I think more than anything. I'm young enough. I'm not a spring chicken, but we need a younger president. We need a president while Ngori is not detached from reality. And I'm not an ageist, but I don't believe that these elderly guys, over 70, should lead our country further than what they have. That is why the country has a very strong young population, and yet it's being hugely underutilized. So you need someone like myself, who is going to bring vibrancy into the whole thing. We've got fresh ideas, but I'm robust and strong enough to really lead this country, and that's what I want to do one day.
Mr. Tau, I'm inspired by you. When I was Makela, so you are so inspiring. So I just want to Mr. Lamak, I will give you a chance after this one. I will give you a chance. After that, we will be rapping. So Mr. President, I like your political strategy. I like your political ideology. But then there is something I want to ask you. According to you, what has to be done on Eskom to finish load shedding?
Look, the issue of load shedding, I think we deal with the issue of evergreen contracts as well as corruption at ESCOM.
Yeah.
There's a thing called maintenance. Now, fortunately, like I told you, I'm a qualified diesel electrical fitter, and therefore I can fix trains. But equal to ESCOM, I have seen how we have hollowed out the capacity to do maintenance in this equipment. Go Transnet, you are never going to have the kind of locomotives and everything like we used to have. The same thing, those power stations, the people that we've transformed too fast, and I'm not saying we shouldn't have, where we've put in people without the requisite expertise and skills, and we never transferred skills, and then you sit with a problem where those equipment is not being looked after the way it's supposed to, and then you have the problems that you have with ESCOM. We will get ESCOM right, we will put money into it, but we need to get the right people at the helm to turn this situation around. But also we need to do a proper energy mix. Let's move in the times. The earth is not always going to be there, so we cannot want to always fire coal up. Let's look at alternatives, and then later on, we've got enough sun. Let's have a way to incentivize putting solar panels, because and making sure that actually solar becomes the kind of hip kind of energy, because solar has been seen as inferior kind of electricity. Let's make it fashionable to have a solar panel on top of your roof, and then we can resolve these problems.
Sagabo magabe mo go shadisere di le se di go le mo di tla bana na mahlakotulo. We are running out of time. Mr. Malak, I just want you to only focus on a point. Then after that, I will be ripping to ask Mr. President, because time is no longer favoring us. Yes. So can you just state a point, Nji?
When I'll say, President, I've heard you were mentioning EFF there and then. I know it's their 10th anniversary now. Yeah, the man is furious. Comrade Juju is also saying he's having the map of the union building already. He's seeing himself actually leading the country. According to you, do you see Comrade Juju as our next leader?
Look, I can't say in a tennis match my opponent is going to win.
Imagine.
Why would I be playing?
How?
My opponent? No, I wish him well. I think he has cut his teeth in politics, and he's a son of the soil. He's done well. He's an inspiration to a lot of young people who he started the political party with other young people. And I think, if anything, young people should give young people a chance. Like I said, I'm not an ageist.
That's the point. So that's great, Mr. Tau. Ladies and gentlemen, you were watching #Reality with Ashley. We gave you the party leader of the latest political party in South Africa, named, I don't know how to, it's United African Transformation. I'm familiar with UAT Party. So make sure that you subscribe. You give us a thumb. You also press the button of the bell. Thank you very much. There is more to come. We're still going to give you a lot of things. I really enjoyed the conversation with the party leader of UAT, the incoming member of parliament. I can't wait to see him in parliament raising a point of order. Thank you. Stay tuned until we meet again. Thank you very much, Mr. Malak.
For myself, Touch the Malak, I'm also out of here. Thank you, Mr. Tau, for having us. We had what we had to say. We appreciate. We wish you good luck. We wish you all the best with your journey, and I believe we're still gonna meet again and discuss furthermore, and then see how you have done in the coming elections. We just wanna wish you good luck, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.